Since it is a yin class and all the poses are timed, we need to get started. So let's grab your block and lay down, lift your butt in the air, and place the block under your tailbone. And then you're going to move your feet to the ceiling and drain the legs for 2 minutes. Now I am starting a timer for 2 minutes. You're going to breathe at least twice as deep as you normally breathe in and out through your nose. If I did not give you a breathing guide, I will try to remember to give you one. But today, breathe at least twice as deep as you normally do in and out through your nose. Let's give some affection to the 56 bones of your feet as you rotate the ankles 4 or 5 times in each direction. Rotate your ankles 4 or 5 times in each direction. They're not my ankles, they're yours. Spread the toes, point the toes, crimp the toes. Running through the tips of your toes, through your ankle joints. Knees and hips are your lower meridians. Stomach, spleen, gallbladder, urinary bladder, kidney, and liver meridians. Interlace your fingers completely. Flip the palms away from you. Say hi to your fingers and wrists as you check in with your breath. I know you're breathing twice as deep as you normally breathing in and out through your nose. You can move the arms in some capacity as the clock ticks on. There's only a minute to go or so. Try to move the arms over the head and say hi to your shoulder joints. We do yin yoga every 3 classes. You just so happen to catch it today. Yin is the subtle half. Half your body is yang tissue. That's the muscular half. This culture is youthful, only 600 years old in America. They taught us no pain, no gain. Work the yang muscles, look good on the outside, but half your body is yin tissue. So, the subtle part of your body are the bones, the connective tissue of the joints, the ligament structures, and the fascia networks, which we're going to work with today. And by the time you leave the building, you're going to know what few Americans know about yin. You're going to know quite a bit. Let's release your feet to the mat, unclasp your fingers. Now, your feet are on the mat so you can lift your butt again and move the block up about 4 inches to your lower lumbar spine. These are called the sweet spot. Only you know that lower part of the back that gives you problems after a long day. You have 2 choices once you get the block there. You can straighten your legs and, or you can keep your knees bent. This is only a minute and a half. Whether you choose to keep your knees bent or straighten your legs, I do want you to grab opposite elbows, bring the arms over the top of your head. It's easier if you listen to every word that comes out of my mouth. I've been doing this for 8 years. If you just ride on the words and listen and do what I say, it'll be a nice class for you. You could draw the legs and bring the block, as I mentioned already, under the lumbar spine, the net palmer. The net palmer has to watch out when we say her full name on YouTube. She has to be careful that no police officers are listening to the class. Kathy Jo Miller has to watch out as well, and so does Honey Joe Barrett. I hope you're breathing deeply and you're connecting with your lower back and your shoulders, because this is timed. The time is going to run out soon. So we've been here over 3 years, Colette, as she attends. What? Colette comes to church here. So we have a group of people that I've known many years. We have an interactive environment. We act like normal human beings. I want you to feel comfortable here. I want you to be communicative. But don't complain, because it won't get you anywhere. You can release off the block. The block is set aside, but keep it within arm's length. We're going to use it again. And hug in your knees. Hug the knees in just long enough to figure out that your thighs are at least 90 degrees from the floor. And keep the knees bent, because you're hugging the knees, and drop both legs off to the right side of the mat. Try to keep the knees high, the thighs at 90 degrees. Your arms can draw out like wings. Your head turning to the left. Make sure you anchor the legs all the way down. You might have to come way up on your hip. Right, Van? Let the legs go. We're going left, Brenda. Once you find your arms out like wings and your legs anchored, turn your head to the right. Check that. Turn your head left and breathe deeply. Van, you need to shift on your hip so your legs can relax all the way down. We're going to the right, unless you've already established the left. It's fine with me. Your breath is deep so your diaphragm can massage your liver, kidneys, and spleen. So when I started teaching yoga, this is what I do for a living, I was torn because 87% of yoga deals with your mind, how you think, the thoughts that come into it, and the mind connects to your heart. Yoga is all about your heart as well. So we're not going to read today as I typically would because we have a few people that have not been in my class before, but I am going to summarize what yoga is. But we were planning on reading from the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is a yoga book. The Bhagavad Gita is about the classic war that goes on between flesh and spirit. As your flesh says, I want to do whatever I want to do, and your spirit always says, hey, when are you going to start doing what you're supposed to be doing? Now we all have a spirit. If you want to remember to your earliest day when you were 3 or 4 years old, but your body's changed since then, hasn't it? You went through teenagehood, college maybe, you're married, you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, but you haven't changed one minute. You've gotten wiser. So there's easy proof that you're a spiritual being. And yoga teaches that you are eternal and you're perfect in every way. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you at all. That's what yoga teaches. Let's hug in the knees for 30 seconds. Now, over the years as I've been teaching, I've been reading yoga books, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of practitioners have left my classes because they don't agree with me just teaching yoga. The 87% that deals with the spiritual, only 13% deal with the physical. However, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not about trying to get the masses into my classes. I'm going to teach yoga whether people like it or not. Let's drop both knees to the left side of the mat. Your arms draw out like wings, just like last time. When your knees anchor to the left, your head turns to the right. So you're twisting the spinal joints right now. You're breathing deeply, I know you are, in and out through your nose. 85% of America will never twist their spine. For 2 minutes we're twisting. We're going to do more twisting. We're going to do some lateral bending today. We're going to do some stretching. We're going to do some forward bending, some back bending as well. But you're stressing the joints, the 23 joints of your spine. You're opening up the connective tissue. You're hydrating, you're energizing again as the spine begins to deteriorate about the age of 35. And the disc between the vertebrae begin to decay as well. So you can be juicy or you can be rigid. Choose wisely. So yoga teaches, as Vivekananda says, the universe is your home, not just Earth. This is just a place you're at right now. There are many stages of spiritual maturity. If you graduate from here, perhaps you'll be somewhere else. But the universe is your home, and all are your brothers and sisters. And just like Christ said, if you do it for the least of my brothers and sisters, you do it for me. So there are people on the planet that some Americans don't like. I don't like those people. However, they're your brothers and sisters. They share the same consciousness that you share. They're no different. They just happen to be different thought processes, and they're in a different part of the country. Think about it. When you reincarnate again in your next life, perhaps you'll be living in the same country of someone that you dislike today. Yoga does teach reincarnation. And if you remember, Christ said that John the Baptist was Elisha, come back. But you have to be careful when you talk things like that in a church, because people will want to take your head off. Because then you have to open up yoga books, don't you? You have to open up books from the East, and the whole system could collapse. Let's find happy baby. Bend the knees, bottoms of the feet facing the ceiling. Try to grab the outside of your feet if you can. As you breathe for 1 minute, pull the feet away from each other. You can tick-tock them front to back. Happy baby. I know you can. You're youthful. The hardest thing about Yin Yoga is to try to keep the mind quiet because you're not doing much. But trust me, your body is benefiting tremendously. So I'll put the yoga music on, as we always do, but I'm probably going to ponder for the next moment or two if I'm going to say anything else about the summary of yoga. I'm pondering, I'm asking the cosmic consciousness if there's anything else I need to share with you. No one's in the church office. I'm a vendor. I rent space here. All you can do is nobody's here right now. All you can do is leave your materials. Go to the office. Go right over here. Yeah. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
You too. You too as well. Thank you. Time is up. Let's release. Let's release and grab your block. Now you may not choose to use the block, but grab it and come to a seated position. We're going to find half butterfly. You're going to bend your right leg. If you're in front of me, it looks like your left, but don't. Listen to my words. Bend your right leg. Now, option 1 is the block. You could put the block under the right foot. Now, the foot is near the groin, and then you're going to tip forward, but you have to find your center line, which is the belly button. And as you draw the weight forward, you could grab the left ankle. This is one option. Now, if this is too much pressure on your hips, which we are opening today, you simply will not use the block. Just don't use the block. But you're ready to go as I start the 3-minute timer, Laura. Let's begin. So let me finish. The universe has told me to say one more thing before we start our yoga music. And usually I read about 15 minutes anyway, and we're only in 14 minutes into the class. So it looks like perfect timing.
They promise they won't tell.
Perfect timing. I would have read, but I am trying to summarize what yoga is. So the last thing I want to mention is the sophisticated equipment that you have in your body that nobody talks about on CNN, Microsoft, NBC, Fox News, Democracy Now! The equipment that you've been given free and clear, other than your consciousness, to find enlightenment. We can start with the most familiar. It's called your third eye. There's a pineal gland. Every night when you dream, the pineal gland activates, and all the pictures you see come from your pineal gland right between your eyes. That's the meditative gland. That's the doorway between your temporary flesh and the eternal spirit. And when Christ said, "Knock, and I shall answer," he's talking about knocking on the door. Oddly enough, they call the third eye the pearl of great price. And Christ also had a parable called the pearl of great price. If the kingdom of heaven, by the way, he says, is within, so you're supposed to meditate and seek your true nature is what yoga is about, finding out who you really are by meditation, using that pineal gland. But Christ said the kingdom of heaven is like a pearl of great price. If you find the pearl, sell everything you own and buy the pearl. What happens when you meditate and discover that you are an eternal spirit, like all the masters, avatars, rishis, saints, and seers have said throughout history. Even Christ said in John 10:34, "Ye are gods." When you determine that you are eternal spirit, you don't have any more use for the flesh. You sell everything you own, meaning you have no more desires in this material plane, and actually, you probably won't have to come back here again. Lastly, I'd like to mention other pieces of sophisticated equipment you've been given. The crown chakras at the top of your head and all of the spine, which you're opening today. All the chakras of the spine, from the lower spine, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, below the heart. Then you have Venus. The Venus chakra is your heart, Mercury chakra, behind your throat. The moon center is your medulla oblongata, your brainstem, and of course, I've already mentioned the sun center is your third eye. And Colette, makes no difference to me. I just teach yoga, and we have 12 locations, and I just keep going and going, just like the Energizer Bunny. Let's release. Now, I'm finished talking, and I know some of you are saying, good. You have 1 minute. You can release your tension. You could sit and do windshield wipers. You can lie and do windshield wipers. You could do arch pose. You can hug the knees. You only get 1 minute, Kathy. And I mean it. Does anybody care to guess what's next? Does anybody know? That's brilliant. How did you come up with that? Let's find half butterfly on the left hip. Remember, you get to choose whether you use the block or not, Van. Remember, you also need to find the midline of your body because that's where you're going to descend your weight upon. So with enthusiasm, when you're ready, with enthusiasm, as I begin the timer, let's find half butterfly on the left hip. Anytime. Are you comfortable, Sigrid? Okay. You're breathing deeply in and out through your nose. I know you are. Let me know if you're too cold or too warm. Should I shut the cooler off? Should I shut it off? Okay. So we do Yin Yoga every 3 classes. We've only been doing it about 4 years. I had no idea what it was when I started teaching. My colleagues suggested I try it. Everybody loves it. So if you're here next week, no Yin, we'll be doing more standing poses, more balancing. We'll be doing more ambitious movements. Remember, you're doing your yoga. There's no ego in yoga. It's your yoga. Don't concern yourself with what others are doing. Don't sacrifice your body for the glory of the pose. Don't hurt yourself. If you're in any pain or discomfort, then you'll have to back off or I'll find a modification for you. Release. You get 1 minute. Michaela, you only get a minute to release any tension that you've caused to your body. I had nothing to do with it at all. So we have a big group. We've got 20 today. It might be our largest group for a while. Which one of you said you saw my car on the road and came in? Somebody told me that today.
Oh, I did. I didn't know.
Yeah, there we go. It's the only...
I knew you were around, but I didn't get any advertisement. I just see you.
Not many people see the car and pop in. Oh, it was you, Colette, yeah. All right, let's come up to seated. Now, we're involving the hips, so bring your legs out wide. You don't have to really bring them really wide, but bring them wide enough to feel a little bit of tension in the hip socket. Interlace your fingers, pointer fingers, and give me about 2 inhales as you lift out. You're just getting the spine straight so we can move it sideways. We haven't moved it sideways today, right? Give me 1 more inhale. You're looking straight ahead. Why do you need to look straight ahead? So your neck, your cervical is in line with the rest. Drop the right hand to the hip area on the rug and lean to your right for 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you use the breath, because I always mention the word breath or breathe more than any other word that I speak in the class, as you exhale, that's when you're surrendering. When you exhale, you're releasing. And try not to forget the 6 joints of your neck. Perhaps your head can drop like a rag doll, where your ear kisses your shoulder. How do you drop the shoulder? You got to bend the arm a little bit. Bend the arm a little bit so the shoulder can drop. And make sure you're breathing at least twice as deep as you normally do, in and out through your nose. So as the connective tissue between the joints begins to break open a little bit, because why? You're holding the pose for a long period of time. Hydration comes in. We're mostly water. Also, there are degenerative areas in your body and mind that are difficult to trace. So as you break open the fascia network and you deepen the pose, it's very possible you can re-energize the body, which is why yin is one of the best things we should have been doing at a very early age. But this country is still young. We're learning slowly. Let's float because you're water, to the left side, finding your lateral bend for 1 minute and 30 seconds. On the left side. How's it going, Laura? Doing okay? Okay. So don't sweat it if you are on camera. I don't actually have to do this. I don't know why I shoot. Jonathan makes $30 every time he shoots. But we're only going to shoot about 6 more when we get to 30 yen. But nobody really watches. When I first started shooting YouTube videos, I was really nervous the first 3 or 4 classes. I thought the whole world was watching. So don't sweat it. Or you can call your friends and family and tell them you're a celebrity if you want to. But we're doing it for everybody else. It's called selfless service. So you're helping people learn yin yoga. As you release, you're going to need to shift your sit bones because your legs are wide. But your legs now go real wide so you can shift the sit bones forward, because ultimately I want you right down the middle for 3 minutes. Begin. Now your urinary bladder meridians are being stimulated, which run up and down the backs of your legs. Your urinary bladder meridians also run up and down your spine. Your breath is deep. And those urinary bladder meridians are part, as I've already mentioned, your lower meridians, which begin and or end in the tips of your toes, running up the toe joints, ankles, knees, hips, stomach, spleen, gallbladder, urinary bladder, kidney, and liver meridians. So if your joints are supple and energized, it's good for the rest of the system of the body. And Yin Yoga is really the best way to keep the joints youthful and energetic. Make sure you're breathing at least twice as deep as you normally do, in and out through your nose. All right, you can gently come on out. Take a full minute, Jenny, to move any way that you'd like to counterpose. While you're moving and resting, try to keep your block within arm's length, because you could be using it in the next sequence. So we always change up the classes. If you're here a week from Tuesday, which is our next Yin class, we'll have a completely different sequence, completely different poses. Some classes can be a little bit ambitious, where you do a little more work. Other classes can be very gentle. All right, you have about 10 seconds. When you're ready, you'll come back up to a seated position. So this is shoelace. They call it in Yin. We know it as cow's head in Hatha Yoga. We're going to begin with both legs slightly bent. Remember, listen to my words. Don't copy what you see, or you'll be on the wrong foot. Take your left foot underneath the bent right leg, and with your right hand, grab the left foot and pull the left foot to the right until your left knee is in line with the belly button area. Your right leg then is able to stack on top like this, and the block could go under your left butt cheek. just like this. Did you catch that, Kathy?
Honestly, I looked wrong.
No, you have it right. You have to move. Colette, help her. She has to move the right leg on top.
You got the one leg on top.
Now, you don't have to put the block under your left butt cheek. If you're not using the block under your left butt cheek, then just don't sit on your heels. Now, I don't need the block, but I'm a little angled. So for me, the block helps level me out. For the first 1 minute only, you're going to do a lateral lean to your right, and it's this direction. Begin. So this is a subtle hip opener just by the way you're sitting. Thank you. It's meant to be interesting. The right leg is on top, and you're leaning to the right. And it looks like everyone has followed the directions perfectly. Don't forget the ear. Kiss it to the shoulder. This particular class, I've added an extra minute. Normally we only do about 3 minutes of laterals. Today we're up to 5. I hope you're breathing nice and deep. You can release. Now, if you can see the beautiful Michaela, she's twisting now to the left. She's going to take her left hand behind her on the mat, and she's going to bring the right hand to the leg, and she's going to look behind her for a twist to the left. Breath is deep. This is only 1 minute. If it works for you, you're actually turning your chin behind you. If you're looking out of the corner of your eye, that can strengthen your optical nerves, as we very rarely use so much force out of the corner of our eye for an extended period of time. You have just about 20 seconds to go, so hang in there. Well done. Leave your legs where they are. Drop your hands right down in front. 2 minutes. 2 more minutes. Now remember, I've already stated, if you're in any discomfort or pain, you want to modify or not put so much into it. When you get in pain or discomfort, it's difficult to achieve quietude of mind, which is what yoga is. You can unpretzel your legs now and take a full minute to counterpose any way that works best for you. So when I first taught this class on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. at Church of the Painted Hills way out west, we've only been there 11 months. We'll have our 1-year anniversary May 1st. After they came out of this pose that you just came out of, there were so many tense faces, so much pain on their faces that I felt sorry for them. I suggested to the class, maybe we should go into back bends before we do the other side. Of course, they're tough out there in the west side of town. They said, no, let's push on. Let's go to get the hips out of the way once and for all. Right, Joyce? So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to let the west siders show up the east siders. So let's come back up to seated. Bend your knees and bring your right foot underneath the bent left knee and pull the right foot with the left hand to the left until the right knee is in line with your belly button. Then your left leg comes on top. If you want to use the block, Susie, you'll put the block under your right butt cheek. Oh, I said butt on YouTube. All right, let's go to a lateral bend to your left, right? 1 minute only, Kathy Jo Miller. 1 minute only. Let's get the hips out of the way once and for all. Then we can move into back bending. Oh, yeah. Remember, you're looking straight ahead, right, Susie? Smiling, Susie? So the ear can drop to the shoulder. This is your shoulder. So one of the better benefits of Yin Yoga is acupressure. Acupressure. You won't get a benefit of acupressure in a regular yoga class or in an exercise program. Let's twist right. So your right hand behind you on the mat, left hand on the front leg, and level your chin with the floor. You're twisting so the left hand can draw to the leg. And look behind you, right, Kathy? We actually have 2 Kathys in class. I'll call you Kathy and call the other one Kathy Jo Miller. Where's the third Kathy? Oh yes, Kathy McDaniel's here. Oh, watch out. She said her last name. Be careful. We don't want to say, is it Laura Evans or is it Laura Russell? No, I'm talking to this one. I don't know. I think I forgot your last name, Laura, but that's okay. Yogis don't have big egos. We don't need a lot of glory. Acupressure. I'll get to that in about 15 seconds. Very well. Let's release. Don't move your legs, though. Move your hands right down in front. 2 more minutes of hips. Are you going to make it? So acupressure, a good example. Right now you're doing a forward fold. You're cutting off some blood flow in some capacity. And that blood has to move somewhere else, and it will, pressurizing other areas of your body, thus acupressure. There's also energetic flow that's cut off, helping pressurizing. When you do come out of your forward folding, as an example of acupressure, that blood and energy rushes in too, helping clean out toxicities in your body. They can be pesticides or preservatives or any number of 150 environmental toxins that we have. But the one I like the best, the benefit I like to say, are the emotional toxins that can build up in one's body. Just in one day, you can have such a stressful day. It goes right into the body. Many people have decades of emotional toxins due to lifestyles, life experiences, and thought processes. So one of the first benefits of yoga practice, your friends and family will usually notice first, you seem much more relaxed, you seem much more calm. And it's because the emotional toxins that you may not know residing in your body are releasing out. So you wouldn't normally get acupressure any other way other than a yin class. Well done. You can unpretzel your legs, soften the face, the 70 muscles in your face. Don't tense the face when you come out of the pose. But you get a full minute. You get a full minute to recover, Elizabeth and Jan. You don't think I see you over there?
I don't think so. We're invisible.
What is this, high school? You guys telling jokes over there in the corner? The thing is, you never tell me. They point at me, they laugh in my direction, but they never tell me what they're talking about, see?
They're saying how much we love you.
That's what bothers me. All right, we're going to, in about 15 seconds, move toward our first back bending experiences. So let's move to table pose on your hands and knees. Table pose on your hands and knees. Now walk your feet toward the back edge of your mat, but you don't have to walk them off. You want your feet on the mat so they're comfortable. And bring your hands with you so your hands start out right under your shoulders. Look at your hands and walk your hands 2 hand lengths forward and leave your hands 2 hand lengths forward and sit your butt back towards your heels. Draw your head to the mat or block and try not to have your elbows touch the mat. Please don't have your butt resting on your heels. That's why you moved your hands forward. This is called melting heart. You're stressing the joints of your shoulders now, and you're trying to stay out of the dowager's hump category where you have a little movement forward that could compromise respiration and circulation to the heart, putting you in a cardiovascular category. Your fingers are spread nice and wide so you can feel the energy in there, up your wrists, you might notice. Remember, the upper meridians that begin and or end in the tips of your fingers, running through your finger joints, elbow joints, shoulder joints, are the heart, the lungs, the small and large intestine, the pericardian meridian, which is part of the heart, and the Sanjial meridian, the most important meridian in your body. They call the triple burner. It brings energy to all the other meridians. So the shoulder joints need to stay supple and energized, and you're stressing them quite nicely right now. And I know your breath is deep. I'm sure of it. So we're going to start on the upper back. This is 2.5 minutes. You are 1 minute away from finishing. Then we're going to move from here to Sphinx pose, where we'll work the whole of the spine after that. So these degenerative areas that I mentioned as you open them up, and no one knows where they are, you have benefits of that, which I'll talk about soon. Now, you're going to gracefully and carefully move to Sphinx pose. You're going to lay down on your stomach. And once you get to your stomach, draw your elbows and forearms to the mat. Just like that. Perfect. Look down at your elbows. Make sure they're right under your shoulders. Move your elbows closer to your side body and proud up your heart. So look, Michaela, look to your left. Lori, you're going to come up. Perfect. No, not that far. Right there. Now don't move. Now Layla just needs to copy you as I begin the timer. Sorry. Michaela, move your elbows forward. There you go. And bring your elbows in a little closer. I started the timer. Your chin is level with the floor if that works for you. And your breath is deep. Let's get some action into the pose so we can involve your consciousness. So every time you exhale, the diaphragm collapses. So when you exhale, push your groin down into the mat and lift your heart up and back. So with each exhale comes movement. With each movement comes feeling. And with that feeling, draw your awareness. I'm going to deepen the pose. Today we're going 6 minutes instead of 5. I'm going to deepen the pose when we get to 1:15. So be patient. It's going to get harder. It's going to be more energized. But we have to subtly, passively first, let the nervous system know what's going on. So we can't just abruptly go into a deep back bend. How's your back, Michaela? Okay, then I'm going to leave you alone. Just checking in. Right? You're getting to know me today. I'm getting to know you and your physicalities as well. Don't sweat it. Do the best you can. Do not do anything if you're in any pain or discomfort. Open your eyes and look up to the ceiling for 1:15. If it works for you, eyes are open and looking up to the ceiling. Eyes are open to strengthen the optical nerves. Remember, don't do anything if you're in any pain or discomfort. How's it going over there, Colette?
Oh, yeah. I'd have to roll over a little bit this year.
Now, if you want to, you can come to kneeling and do a gentle back bend.
Try another way.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna leave you alone. I got you. So fibroblasts are a benefit of yin yoga that you won't get typically in exercise or other yoga classes. Fibroblasts are the cells responsible. You have 15 seconds. Hang in there, Rose. Cells responsible for thickening and strengthening your ligaments. All right, droop your head and rest your neck for about 45 seconds. So as these degenerative areas open up, for instance, you've got 23 joints in your spine that you are energizing. The cells can become imprisoned in those areas as they migrate out because you're stressing those joints. The fibroblasts can thicken and strengthen the ligaments and also are responsible for the elastin, the skin properties. You're going to get more youthful skin. All right, that's 40 seconds or so. Bring the chin back to level. And for 1:15, I want you to try to reestablish your Sphinx. If it works for you, your chin is level. I'm hoping you're breathing and the heart lifting up and back with each exhale. Now this pose is called Sphinx, and it's recommended for 20 minutes by our author, Bernie Clark, from the Yin book that we use. I think it's the best Yin book on the planet today. So if you have friends or family that have back issues, you can passively, right? You don't have to do a lot of work. Passively work up to longer periods than what we're doing today. Typically we do 5 minutes of Sphinx, we do some other things, and then we do 5 more minutes of Sphinx. Today, no. Today we're going to do just one set of 6 minutes. I'm going to cue you in just a moment to cobra. Just what you did a moment ago, Laura, where you're going to attempt to straighten your arms when I cue you. And you'll look up to the ceiling for 1:15. I'm extending the time today with the eyes open. If you're unable to straighten your arms when I cue you to cobra, then you'll simply move your fingertips forward an inch or two and try it again. Are you ready, Kathy? Sure. Kathy's ready? Let's join her. Straighten your arms to cobra. Eyes open. Look up to the ceiling. Do not do it if you're in any pain or discomfort. Breath is deep, right? Make sure you're breathing at least twice as deep as you normally do it out through your nose. So most Americans use 1/6 of their breathing capacity. When we got to 3rd grade and the ego came in, we began to be shallow breathers. Hang in there, you've got just about 30 seconds. "15, can you make it? Here comes the bonus seconds." So I extended this by 15 seconds. So hang in there, Jan. You've got 3 seconds. Gently look down, gently set the elbows and forearms back on the mat. Droop your head. When you're ready, you'll know. When you're ready, you'll know. You can split your elbows apart, stack your hands underneath your chin, cheek, or forehead, and just relax for a few moments. Laura, is this your stuff over here? This is your breathing guide. That's your homework. And I don't have to say that to Michaela because she heard what I just said. You can bend your legs and tick-tock your lower legs side to side like windshield wipers. Colette, here's your breathing guide. Take that home with you. Kathy already has a breathing guide, right, Kathy? Did you study it, Kathy? All right, let's push up and back into child's pose. Child's pose, you're on your hands and knees. Your butt actually now sits back to the heels if it works for your knees. Your head drops to the mat. No more deep breathing. Your eyes are shut. Get some blood flow to the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus gland. But let's not forget the most sophisticated piece of equipment known to humanity, your pineal gland, getting a little blood flow there. I wish someday we had the pineal channel. More Americans could learn about the most supreme goal in all of life is not the accumulation of cars and vacations and clothing and jewelry and not fulfilling the flesh. It's seeking the kingdom, the spirit within through meditation by activating that pineal gland. If you don't meditate in this lifetime, I can guarantee you in the next, you're going to have someone talk to you about it. Just like it's probably happened to you in previous lives. Someday, you'll get tired of having fun all the time, and you'll begin to look inward. They say living life more abundantly is when you start meditating. All right, let's stand up. What? Yeah, we're going to stand. Now, we only have about 12 minutes, band, left of class. We typically do not rush you in and out of here in 1 hour. We go at a slow pace, and you're usually out of here at 1/4 of. As you stand, you're going to bend the knees slightly. Bring the feet out a little wider than hip. We're going to dangle. You can grab opposite elbows. And just let it go for 2 minutes. So now we're stretching. We've done all the work with the spine. We're doing a little stretching of the spine now, but we're not doing any hard labor. It's a passive stretch called dangling. Now, I don't want you to ever forget what I'm about to tell you. I don't say it enough. I somehow popped in my mind only a couple weeks ago. But as we get older, the organs in your body lose their functionality. Now, one of the best examples I can give you is you don't want to have issues with going to the bathroom as we get older. That's a perfect example, though. So, and the reason they lose functionality is something called gravity. The organs in your body will sag. Now, many of you know you have other areas of your body that sag, so why aren't the organs any different? When you go upside down like you're doing now, the organs can restore their original functionality. There's a story about a famous surgeon. Actually, I don't even have to use the word famous. A surgeon who operated on a woman in her 60s, and he said she had the organs of a 20-year-old. Why? Because she did a lot of inversion, a lot of yoga. So when you do upside down poses, the organs can restore their functionality. What I would recommend is you find a couch or chair at your house and just lean over it. And then you're not doing much work with the legs. And especially if you have organ problems, it's like giving it a massage, isn't it? It's moving in the other direction. Everything is moving inside, energizing. So keep that in mind. Now stand up. Woohoo! All right, now it's up to you, Kathy McDaniel, to see how wide your feet have to be. Find your squat. Find your squat. Now, if you're not able to squat like you see me, here's your option. You take one leg out front and bring both hands and arms on the inside of the leg and drop the head for 1 minute until I cue you on the other side. Okay, can you get all the way down? Your feet might be too wide, but you don't want any energy in your squat. That's going to hurt your, that's like working the muscles. You're going to try to come all the way here, and then that's it. I'm timing this. Who's not? It's Kathy. Set one knee down on the mat. Set one knee on the mat. Step 1 foot forward like this. Bring both hands the inside of the leg. You're still working your hip. We're just working both of them. This is 2 minutes. Now, I've mentioned to you before that 2/3 of the world's population squat every day to use the bathroom. We're sophisticated. We're sophisticated in this country, right? We have toilets. Now, if you can Google toilets if you want and find out when they were invented.
I bless that man every day. That and indoor function.
If you're on one leg only, switch legs. If you're squatting, you got 1 more minute. Wipe that smile off your face, Sigrid. This is serious work. Sigrid. Like Ingrid. It's Sigrid, the one over here in front of Jonathan. This is Laura. Actually, it's Lori and Michaela. Michaela, yeah. Hang in there, you've got just about 25 seconds. We're winding down after this. Excuse me? We have exactly 7 minutes left of class. And our book says if you're not comfortable squatting, you should do it more often because it's a natural thing. Let's release to your mat. Now, you're going to release to your forearms, though, so you can look in my direction because it's all about me and my bald head. Now, make sure your heels are on the mat. So you're going to bring your heels down here toward the edge of the mat because we're done. because you're going to be resting after we finish this last sequence. So you might as well get comfortable on your mat. Here's cat pulling its tail. We're all going to move to the right hip like this. The left top leg anchors down like this. It's bent. My tail is grabbed with my free left hand as I bend the right knee and pull the tail away. Now I have to breathe as I drop down and push the back of my head into the mat and lift my shoulders as I turn my head to the left. My breath is deep. I'm coming over there. Just do what you can as I set the timer. Cat pulling its tail is a twisting back bend. Who said something about? Can you grab your tail?
What, this?
No, the other tail. Now lay down. Okay. Good. You're perfect. Turn your head towards Colette. Okay. This comes up, and you just relax. Head turning towards her. Now this is a great example of the fascia network. The pose actually matures with your movement. How you doing over here, Brenda?
I'm hanging in there.
All right, I'm not going to touch you. Now we have many different twisting styles in Yin. This is simply what I have chosen today. Yeah. You're perfect. So when we finish the other side, class is going to be over. Now if you're in a yoga studio and you pay your $12, they're going to rush you in and out in 1 hour because they have another class. We've always gone at a slow pace. Seconds. Chondrocytes and osteoblasts are other benefits of Yin Yoga. Chondrocytes. You got the wrong tail, Kathy. And you need to bring that other knee up by your chest so you can twist. You're not twisting. Okay, it's a twist. So this knee comes all the way over here. Now breathe your way to drop.
Like that?
Breathe your way to drop the shoulder and turn your head to the left.
Well, how am I gonna,
That's it, right there. That's where you're at. That's where you need to go. You need to breathe and release into the pose. So chondrocytes are for your cartilage. Now hug in your knees for 30 seconds. Chondrocytes are the cells responsible for adding cartilage to the body. So if you have joints that are bone on bone or that are decaying, as you stress the joints, the cells in that area that are responsible for cartilage, they get to migrate out and do their job better. But you can't get the benefit without stressing the joints, and that's a good stress, for a long period of time. Does anybody know what I'm going to say next? Find cat pulling its tail to the left. And don't disappoint me by grabbing the wrong tail. Then I have to bark at you, and it's been a long week of barking. Your head turning right as I start the timer. That's it, Sigrid, you're there. Everybody looks like they've got their tail. Now let's try breathing and exploring as that shoulder drops. The osteoblasts. You can think of osteoporosis. 10 million Americans have osteoporosis or osteopenia. 30 million Americans with osteopenia. But the I forgot how to pronounce the word. Osteoblasts, chondrocytes and osteoblasts, are responsible, the cells, for bringing your bones to a higher density level. How can that be? Because you're stressing the bones for a long period of time in a Yin class. Now, we only offer a guided meditation only at the end of our Yin class. So instead of the last 5 minutes of rest, where it's complete quiet, we have a 5-minute meditation today. But we only offer at the end of the Yin class. We're going to start that in about 2 minutes. If you happen to lose your way while I walk you through the meditation, I will not be offended, because you're still resting, you're letting the mind relax. When your mind is calm and relaxed, your body moves to the parasympathetic nervous system, and it can heal itself. As the body has its own intelligence, it's always working toward perfection. Many Americans are stressed out, their mind is racing, their body is in the sympathetic nervous system, and they're more susceptible to disease and illness. And stress now could be argued one of the #1 causes of disease and illness. So if you lose your way during the meditation, I'm fine. I just want you to calm the mind, calm the tornado, calm the tiger. The most difficult thing you'll ever try to do in this lifetime or any lifetime is train your own mind. Isn't that weird? You've got a mind that you've been lugging around your whole life, and you can't even train it. And that's what meditation and yoga is all about, the supreme goal in life. And many Americans think there's something weird about yoga. It's a universal practice of controlling the mind so you can discover your true nature, which is perfect and eternal. Let's hug in the knees and class is over. I'm going to give you 1 minute to find the second most important pose in all of yoga, your final 5 minutes of rest. Lori. Your final 5 minutes of rest is the second most important pose in all of yoga. I usually set the 5-minute timer, but the meditation is about 5 minutes. The most important pose in all of yoga, and arguably since the beginning of humanity, is to seek the kingdom within through meditation, through the sophisticated equipment that you have that nobody wants to talk about. So in about 30 seconds, I'm going to begin the meditation. I'm hoping by then you're snuggling into your mat with your eyes closed, no more deep breathing. And we'll finish up the class. This meditation by Jan Baker, called Springtime. Try to relax every part of your body as you settle in to Mother Earth. Through your Yin today, you've revived your body. Now just relax as your body smiles back at you with gratefulness. You should feel good about yourself at this moment. Picture in your mind a large tree in front of you. Just look at its magnificence. Look at the firm trunk standing straight and proud. Perhaps it's stood that way for hundreds of years. The tree's longevity comes from two sources: the deep roots that reach down into the earth for nourishment, while its limbs stretch skyward to the sun's energy. The tree continually renews itself. Picture the trunk of that tree as your torso with feet attached. Can you see yourself as the tree? In addition to seeing yourself as the tree, feel yourself as the tree. Feel the strength of your torso. And feel your legs as gigantic roots, firm and pushing into the ground. Your toes are tiny roots reaching outward. Your toes spreading further and further, deeper and deeper. Feel the strength of your being, your quiet, subtle, unshakable power. Feel your arms as massive limbs reaching up and out to the sky, the sun, the wind, and the rain, to gather it all into your being. Feel your fingertips as tiny buds vibrating with life, with the energy coming from your limbs, constantly germinating and energizing you. Let your breath assist you. Every time you inhale, feel new energy enter every part of you from the earth and sky. As you inhale, energy entering every part of you from the earth and sky. Each time you exhale, feel yourself expand, pushing outward, upward, and downward. Think of this motion as your springtime, your time to bloom, to flower in all of your magnificence. As you make your way back to this temporary plane of existence, try to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. So that wasn't too bad, huh? I thought it was nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. If you'd like to, you can draw your hands to the heart center. Thank you all for coming out and sharing such a pleasant and delightful yin experience, sharing it with me and with each other. Michaela, Lori, Colette, and Kathy, thank you all for being here as we dedicate this class to you. We hope to see you again. And best of luck with your yoga journeys. It means good luck finding enlightenment. Our closing today from the Kina Upanishads of ancient texts. The will and the thinking mind come from the power of the Creator. Therefore, use this power to meditate on the Creator. I hope your weekend is peaceful and powerful. Namaste.